First contact went rather well, all things considered. The conclave had already made contact with several hundred intelligent species by the time they arrived on Earth, so they had the process down to a science. There was no mass hysteria, no fear of invasion, no confusing diplomatic missteps. It turns out pre-contact societies are all quite similar. Get in touch with the major media outlets and world leaders, and you've got it covered. From the perspective of the 358 member species of the conclave, the addition of the 359th was a fairly routine matter. However, many on Earth were quite excited. For many of us, it was the long-awaited arrival of the nebulous future we had seen in science fiction, but never quite reached. Take the Koval, for example. Basically, they were Tolkien's elves, beautiful, graceful creatures that made soul-crushingly haunting music and poetry, lived for several millennia, and also happened to have 6 legs, 4 eyes, and 2 pointy ears. Then there were the Licks, whose proud warrior history made Genghis Khan look like a dirty hippie. They were large, muscular hulks, and could easily crush a mid-sized sedan in one fist. Not that they would. They were proud of their history, but as one of the founding member species of the conclave, they had expressly forbidden all war. So the Licks had humans beat in both war and peace. As a result, for some, the transition to becoming the newest small fish in the big pond was a bit underwhelming. For me, however, it was the best thing that could have happened. One of the conclave's coolest inventions introduced to humanity was a brain scanner that could precisely identify the role one was best suited for. With a post-scarcity economy, many needed new vocations, not jobs, as the basics were provided for and money was only needed for certain goods. Before first contact, I had been stuck in a dead-end bank job working with spreadsheets, but the brain scan revealed I was extremely well suited for diplomacy and cultural exchange. I was offered a position on Pax's station, where I would represent humanity and learn about other species. I was quite nervous at first, but the scanner's assessment proved accurate. I was an exceptional diplomat, as were many others. Pax's station, a Dyson sphere, was under construction around a red dwarf star located about a quarter of the way around the Milky Way from the Sun. Construction had begun just a couple of centuries prior. Yediel, the narrator's Koval counterpart, was exceptionally skilled at playing the drums, likely aided by their additional limbs. As the song ended, Yediel inquired about the band's name, 30 Seconds to Mars, and then proceeded to harmonize the chorus flawlessly. "Any plans for the weekend?" the narrator asked as they tossed the Xbox and plastic instruments into the recycler. Yediel brightened up. "Oh yeah, I was wondering if you'd like to come with me actually. Tomorrow is the PAX run. Many conclave species will be there, and it's a fun festival atmosphere. I know it's your day off, but it's a great time to meet and greet. You'll have plenty to add to your reports." The narrator was eager to experience the PAX Run Festival. "That sounds exciting. Is this a running event then? A competition between the species?" "Oh yes, it's a major event on many multi-species planets and stations, with the PAX Run being one of the most prestigious. The Tylar usually win due to their long legs, but occasionally a Licks will push through to the finish. The last time a Koval won was a millennium ago, when I was just a child, though that was partly because there weren't many other species in the conclave back then. But everyone has a great time, and the competition for the lower places is fierce as well. It's a full-day event, of course." The way he said, "of course," piqued my curiosity. "And what's the distance involved?" Yediel gave me a slightly surprised look. "It's 33 Yule, which is about 10.8 of your kilometers." I made a mental note to keep using the metric system, even though I preferred running in miles back home. "Wonderful. I haven't been able to train as much lately, but I think I can manage that." Yediel smiled. "I see. You're serious about this." 33 Yule, no problem at all." I recognized the self-deprecating humor, having heard it from non-runners before. "Am I still able to sign up, or is registration closed?" I reviewed the calculations on my own device. 33 Yule, 10.8 kilometers, 6.7 miles. "Yes, I can handle that." Trying his best to be polite, the diplomat Yediel gently said, "You should know this race is quite prestigious, and to collapse from exhaustion before crossing the finish line would be a terrible embarrassment for your species. First place usually finishes in," he tapped on his pad, under 3 of your hours, and they close the course after 6 hours. As I mentioned, I'm not fast, but I can run that distance in under an hour easily. There must be some misunderstanding. I checked the results of the last PAX run, first verifying the distance was indeed 33 y'all. The winner, a Tyler as Yediel had said, finished in 2 hours, 46 minutes, and 28 seconds, converted from conclave units. I watched a recording of the race, and the pace of the competitors was, to put it mildly, unimpressive. I had an idea. Yediel, do they allow betting on this race? His smile returned. Allow it? My friend, what do you think the all-day festivities are all about? Gens, welcome one and all to the 305th running of the PAX Ultima Galactic Mega Competition. I'm Zen Kirex, here with my lovely Lix friend, Lef Loft, up in the broadcast booth. And Lif, are you as excited as I am about today's PAX run? Lif, Jens, I'm so excited I could tear your armored carapace in half right now. We have an absolutely gorgeous day here at PAX's station. The weather programmers really went all out to make it a great day to race. Jens, that's right, Lif, a beautiful day, and the festivities have already gotten started down in the midfield as the stands fill with spectators. Let's go down to Stek on the track. Stek, I'm here on the track. It is 1 yule in length. This is the track the race will be on. The racers must run around it 33 times. Jens, Stek, what's the mood of the crowd there in the infield? It looks like they're getting pretty rowdy. Stek, yes. A Koval spilled an alcoholic beverage on me. I replaced my jacket. Then a queer ate my jacket. That is why I am currently not wearing a jacket. Lif, the queer tend to get quite ravenous when they gather together. Having 200 siblings per litter often intensifies competition for food within their families, so they'll consume just about anything when in a crowd. Stet, it was my cherished jacket. It was a gift from my dear. Jens, thanks for the update, Stek. Now, Lif, you know I have to ask, will last year's champion, Gozax, secure a repeat victory this time? You know a repeat has only happened 3 other times in the history of the PAX run, but Gozax is the sole Tyler in the race. Lif, now Jens, you know Tylers aren't the only species capable of winning this event. Jens, you're absolutely right. Why, I believe I recall a Lix taking the title just about 17 cycles ago. Lif, ha ha, Jens, very amusing. That Lix was me, as you well know, and it was only 17 cycles ago. Let's not start adding more years where there are already too many. Jens, haha, I tease because I care, Lif. But you're correct, there is a promising Lix in today's race, going by the name of Loaf Leif. Any relation? Lif, there are literally billions of us, Jens. But yes, actually, he's my nephew. Jens, wonderful. Did you place any bets on your nephew? Lif, of course I did. Just a few friendly credits, as always. But you know the story, every cycle is the simply astronomical amount of credits that gets bet on this race. Jens, Lif, you know we like to dig into that, and the boys downstairs did pick up an anomaly in the betting data for the race today. Lif, well, the brain scanner didn't make them statisticians for nothing, did it? What did they find, Jens? Let's hear the details. Jens, an unusually high amount was bet on a relatively minor entrant. A member of the newest conclave member species, the humans, registered for the race just last night, and bets in their favor followed immediately after, with a volume high enough to trigger a few eyebrows among our numbers guys. Most of the actual bets are on the Tyler, Gozax, but this human has attracted unusually high interest. Lif, a human? The pink squishy bipeds? Did someone warn the poor thing? This is a 33 Yule race after all. It's not for the faint of heart, and humans only have one heart. Jens, but someone must think he's worth betting on. Lif, haha, someone who doesn't value credits very much. Ah, here come the racers now. Jens, right you are, Lif. They are now parading onto the track. Let's check in with Stek down on the field. Stek? Stet, this is the Frin racer. This is the Zoran racer. This is the Lix racer. Lif, there's my boy. Go get him, Lof. Stet, this is the queer racer. This is the Koval racer. Jens, thank you, Stek. Let's just let the camera pan over them there. There's Gozax, the Tyler favorite, in full regalia. Lif, he will be a tough one to beat, I must admit. He's looking healthy, and his feathers are in peak condition. Stet, my list has a human runner on it. However, there is no human present. Lif, well, there go some individuals' credits. Jens, that is odd, Lif. It doesn't look good for the humans if their chosen champion doesn't show up. It's rather embarrassing, actually. Lif, you're right, Jens. You and I like to jest a bit, and this is a fun event. But it's also an important gathering of species. It's better not to enter at all than to enter and then not show up. It makes me want to damage this booth a little, I must say. Jens, indeed, Lif. A major faux pas by the humans. But it looks like the race is about to start. Lif, yes, they're all lined up and ready to go. Jens, and they're off. Now, Lif, you're the expert. What's the strategy on this first lap? Lif, I'll tell you, Jens. Each cycle is different. Sometimes the racers will just go out as fast as they can, burn out by the end of the second yule, and crawl for the next 31 laps. Other times, the leaders start moving at a more moderate pace. Jens, and we can see that Gozax, with his long legs, is going for the latter strategy now, a steady pace for 33 laps. Lif, and that works in his favor. It works in Loft's favor too. Both the Tyler and Lick species benefit from this sort of even pacing. Jens, but consider the Fryn. Lif, precisely. Burst right out of the gate, but Jens, I assure you he'll be overtaken before the end. He may build up a substantial lead now, but the effort is exhausting, and the lead will be temporary. 33. Yule is simply not a distance you can race with your reproductive organs just hanging out. Translator's note, the Lick's verb literally means to race balls out. This distance demands respect. Jens, well, we've an exciting couple hours ahead of us, Lif, so let's head back down to Stek for an update on the midfield festivities. Stek? Stek, this vendor sells meat between two pieces of bread. It's become my new favorite food. I planned everything out with Yediel. I assured him repeatedly that I could complete the 33 Yule in under an hour. It seems he'd placed a sizable wager on me. And now, just as before every race, I was beginning to doubt myself. Part of me knew the 8:57 per mile pace our plan required was well within my abilities, but another part had seen the amount bet on me. It was quite substantial. Yediel had evidently told a few of his Koval friends, and a few of them might have shared the news further. First place would have been almost effortless. A time of 2 hours flat would set a huge conclave record, requiring little more than a brisk walk on my part. But Yediel had convinced me to make things a bit more dramatic. Instead of lining up with the other racers, I would arrive an hour and a half late, flustered and seemingly unprepared, and then start running the 33 laps flat out, pulling ahead of everyone and setting a dramatic conclave record of around 2:30. Mo Farah, gold medalist, 10K, 2012 Olympics, or Kenenisa Bekele, world record holder 10K, might show up next cycle and demonstrate what a true human runner can do. But for one galactic cycle at least, I would hold the title of fastest sentient in the galaxy for the 33 Yule race. My name would be forever etched in history. So yes, I was feeling a bit apprehensive. Are you certain this won't spark a diplomatic incident, Yediel? I inquired. Of course not. You'll be abiding by all the rules of the race. There's nothing prohibiting arriving an hour late, and certainly nothing about running as fast as you can. That's the whole point. I assure you, this will reflect very well on humanity. Yediel glanced at the screen. He and Gozax are staying quite close. They haven't quite caught up to the Fryn, but the Fryn has definitely slowed down after his initial burst. They should overtake him in the next lap or two. Then it'll come down to which one breaks down first, the Licks or the Tyler. Or so they believe. Lif. Absolutely, Jens. Now that the human has passed some of the slower racers, he's on his own. Sure, he's lapping a few of the slower competitors here and there, but his objective is now 12 laps away at the finish line, rather than a lap or two ahead of them. This makes the mental aspect of the race that much more significant. It brings me back to my own win 17 cycles ago, when... Jens, hold on, Lif. There's a bit of commotion coming from the locker room. Is that the human there? Lif, yes it is, Jens. Nice of him to show up, right? Jens, he's hopping around a bit there. Looks like he's trying to get his shoes on. Lif, ha! Let's hope he doesn't use up all his energy hopping around. He's got a lengthy race ahead of him. Jens. Now the question is, if he's starting this late, he'll need to finish in just over 4 hours to beat the cutoff. Can he do it? Liv. I don't know. He seems rather slender. It seems like he could do it if he paces himself well. But this isn't just the first 33 Yule race for him. It's the first for his species. He won't know how to pace himself for a race that long. Jens. He's got his shoes on. And oh, there he goes. Liv. Far too fast. Even the Friend exhibited better pacing discipline than that. Jens. Looks pretty smooth, though. Liv. There's no way he can keep that up for more than a lap, maybe 2. The Friend lasted for 4 laps before he had to slow down, but he was going a little slower. Jens. He got flustered by the late start. You think he's trying to make up for it, Liv? Liv. Oh, sure. He's overcompensating. Probably embarrassed. Maybe one of the human leaders called him up and chewed him out when he saw that he was late. Jens. A few too many drinks at last night's pre-race party. Liv. No doubt, Jens. Ha ha ha. Look at him go, though. Jens. He's maintained pace for the first lap. When will the crash come, Liv? Liv. The kid's got spirit. I bet he makes it to the end of the second lap before he crashes and burns. The first couple laps were the worst. It was hard to tell if I was setting the right pace. My GPS watch wouldn't work here, no satellites. And the track is 1 yawl, which is 327 meters. So a little more than 80% of the length of a standard Earth track. And pack station gravity is set at about 90% of Earth's. And the clock on the stadium's Jumbotron isn't in Earth units. Too hard to do all that math in the best of circumstances. But especially not when all my blood has left my brain for greener pastures. So I honestly had no idea how fast I was going, although I was doing my best to aim for an 8:57 per mile effort. Fortunately, I can count laps. That's easy enough. Breathe, run, steady. Liv. How does he remain so steady? Jens. Our researchers have provided some information on humans. Liv. That quickly, huh? The brain scanner didn't make them researchers for nothing. Jens. Evidently, their biology is particularly well-suited for long-distance running. Liv. That thing? A natural runner? Jens. Let's examine this graphic of the human skeleton. First, we have the nuchal ligament in the neck, which stabilizes the human's head while running. Liv. You're telling me he just ran my stars, a 1/49 Yule because of a neck ligament? Jens. That's not all. The human's arched feet act as a spring on every step, allowing some of the landing energy to be returned in the next takeoff. And the tendon on the back of the ankle does the same thing. They're like walking rubber bands. Liv. Running rubber bands. Jens. Yes, I suppose so. Can we get a close-up of his ankle in slow motion? Liv. The brain scanner didn't make them camera operators for nothing. My ankle was rubbing a bit. I'd had the replicator make a pair of Brooks Adrenaline shoes and a pair of Zulu socks, but the socks ended up a little short once I started running. Oh well, I mean, it really is just 6.7 miles, or 33 yobles. It's not like my nipples are going to start bleeding. Whatever, I'll survive, I hope. Liv. I found a picture of a human runner on their internet. His nipples are bleeding. Jens. That didn't come up in the research they sent up. Is that an advantage to running long distance? Liv. I don't think so. It looks painful, actually. Here, take a look. Jens. That does appear extremely painful. It may be caused by the copious amounts of sweat they produce soaking into their clothes. Liv. Sweat? Jens. To cool themselves off, they exude fluid from pores all around their bodies. It appears to be quite effective. Look at the human. He's wet. Liv. That would be very effective. It turns his entire body into a wet tongue, so he doesn't have to pant to keep cool. How did that trait evolve? Liv. Amazing. And can we get an analysis from our researchers on this human's breathing pattern? Jens. Looks like 3 steps to inhale, 2 to exhale, 3 in, 2 out. That's how I knew I was maintaining pace. It means I'm running about 9-minute miles, although I wasn't sure how the 90% gravity would affect that. Yetiel was in the midfield, near the edge of the raucous crowd, and he'd yell out to me, "Right on pace," or "Doing great," every couple laps. I had passed every runner at least once in the first few laps, and every couple laps after that, but I actually passed one in the race standings for the first time during lap 11. 40 runners started the race, and I was now in 39th place. Many aliens in the infield besides Yetiel were starting to cheer me on. Jens. Okay, the human has now finished 11 Yule at this astounding pace, assuming he can maintain this pace for another 22 Yule. Lif. That's a big assumption, Jens. But assuming he can he catch up to Gozax and Lof? I checked with the timers. Lif. The brain scanner didn't make them timers for nothing. Jens. And they say that he can overtake them, again assuming everyone stays at the same pace. Lif. And Gozax and Lof have to be nervous. The human has blazed past them 3 times now, and he shows no signs of slowing down. One by one, I picked the other racers off. I passed the Friend during lap 26. He looked at me as I passed him and made a gesture that I found out later was his species' version of a thumbs up. I decided that the 90% gravity was having a positive effect because I felt very light and energetic, although maybe it was the cheering crowds. Jens, listen to the crowd roar. The human is now in 3rd place, finishing lap 26. He's actually on pace for a conclave record of 2:30. Lif, well, the brain scanner didn't make him a runner for nothing. Jens, actually, he's part of the human diplomatic mission. The brain scanner placed him in cultural exchange. Lif, he must be a real cracker of a diplomat if the brain scanner ranked him higher in diplomacy than running. Yetiel seemed to have been indulging in quite a bit of drinking during the race. He just kept smiling vacantly, winking at me every lap. He knew I had this race in the bag, and so did I. I finished lap 28 and decided to pick up the pace a little to overtake the 2 leaders. Lif. Well, Jens, it appears that Gozax and Lof will be battling for 2nd and 3rd place. We've just started lap 29 and the human has just overtaken them. Jens, Lif, it has been an absolutely remarkable day here at the PAX Run. If you're just tuning in, this human showed up to the race 90 minutes late and has proceeded to dominate the track for the last 50 minutes, pulling ahead of the favorites, Gozax and Lof, in lap 29 of 33. Lif? Jens, I have to say, I'm impressed. This human may not be much to look at, but he has been tearing through these laps, finishing each one in under 2 minutes, while the leaders up to this point had been on a solid 5-minute per lap pace. And now, has he sped up even further? Jens, indeed he has, Lif. Not content with just taking 1st place, he's going for a strong finish. No showboating or grandstanding from this one. It's a race all the way to the finish for him. Lif, a classy move. That's the true spirit of competition right there. He's not rubbing it in their faces by slowing down and showing off. He's just steadily ticking over each step on his ungainly legs, the very pinnacle, no doubt, of human athleticism. God, I was so out of shape. But it was probably a good thing I was the first human runner these aliens got to see. I was just a little faster than the Friend, the sprinting masters. It was a speed the alien spectators were accustomed to seeing in their shorter races. They simply weren't used to seeing it maintained for more than a few Yule. If we'd brought Mo Farah, it would have been beyond their comprehension. Like me, he would be sustaining his pace far longer than they thought possible. But on top of that, it would be a pace that was simply unfathomable to them. And just imagine Usain Bolt coming in for a 1 Yule sprint. Even I can't fathom his speed when I see it. There's always something left in the tank for a kick at the end of the race, and I'd run this below my top speed. So for the last lap, I really let loose. I came into the finish line at a full sprint. Jens, that was an absolutely spectacular finish by the human runner. Lif, Jens, I haven't seen a finish like that in my entire life. I felt like we were witnessing one of the ancient gods running right across Pax Station. I could just pound a hole through this wall. Jens, let's go down to Stek, who is with the human now. Stek? Stet, holy 7 stars, that was amazing. Human, thank you. It was a great run. Stet, you've just set a conclave record for the 33 Yule race at 2:28:50. But you started the race 90 minutes late? You're so fast. Human, yeah, I guess I forgot to set my alarm. But once I got here, I was ready to go. Stet, so you humans must have a strong racing tradition. Is this your first race of this distance? Human, no, we have a race on Earth that we often run that is almost 33 Yules. We call it a 10K. Stet, and do only your fastest heroes run this race? Human, oh no, lots of humans run 10Ks. It's a pretty regular race distance. Stet. But you are the human champion. How do you choose which of the many races to grace with your godlike athletic prowess? Human. Oh, I'm not the fastest human. Not by a long shot. Stet. Human. The conclave species only send their fastest representatives to the 33-yol races. But you are not the fastest? Human. I guess I'm the fastest human on Pax's station. But there are only 10 of us here, since we just recently joined the conclave. But our champion runners could probably run 33-yol in just under 30 minutes. Stet. Ha ha ha, 30 minutes? The race would be over so quickly. But really, how fast could they do it? Human. Seriously, no more than 30 minutes. I'm about half as fast as the record holders. Stet. This is astounding. Human. We have races longer than 33-yol too. We have a race that is 21.1 kilometers. Stet. That's, let's see, 64.5 yol? Stet. And what is this grueling endeavor called? Human. The half marathon. Stet. Half? Then a full marathon must be? Human. Yes, around 129 yol. Stet. Why is it named a marathon? Human. It's an old human tale about a runner who raced home to report a victory in battle. The battle took place near a city called Marathon, and the distance he ran was about 129 yol. Stet. And what happened to the runner when he arrived to inform his fellows of their triumph? Human. He perished. Stet. I see. So this marathon is a ritual sacrifice of your finest runners? Human. Oh no, people rarely die running marathons. I've completed 9 myself. Stet. How did humans develop this remarkable ability? Human. From what I understand, this is how we used to hunt prey.
You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.